It is, what is it? It's 3 of June 2025, and I'm Jim Munchback, and today we're going to start a new semester in personal finance. So if you are joining us in the Zoom room, I am admitting you now. So welcome aboard. It looks like we have some folks in the Zoom room. Good morning. Hello. Please do let me know if you can hear me. If you could, if you're in the Zoom room, just chat in, tell me your name, the time that you joined, and do let me know you can hear me, please. So let's see, we're just about to get started. Name, time. All right. It is the first day of summer school 2025. So we're going to get started here in a minute. I'm going to just put up a couple of notes. Let me see, I'm checking the Zoom room. We usually have Estefani. Can you hear me? Looks like you are in the Zoom room. Can you give me a sound test? Can you tell me, just chat in, tell me you can hear me okay? Uh, okay, cool. Thank you very much. Welcome. We'll get started in just a minute. I just went live on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, X, LinkedIn. So we should be live. Welcome to the Zoom room. I'm going to start just by doing a quick little tech test. It looks like the cameras are working. I got a new camera just yesterday. It's not the most awesome camera, but for the price, it does the job. I've been using my iPhone, and my iPhone works really well, but then it's out of commission. So, okay, here we go. Uh, one more test. Testing. Summer school is underway. We're going to talk about personal finance and money study group. Okay. While we're waiting for some folks to join, I'm going to check my list and make sure I've got everything ready. So here's what we're going to cover today. I'm going to talk about the big idea of personal finance. I want to welcome you if you're a student watching on YouTube. This is being live streamed on YouTube and Facebook and X and LinkedIn. So we're going to cover today's just an introduction. I'm going to introduce you to me and the course and answer any questions you might have. So if you're in the Zoom room and you want to ask a question, that's a great way to ask the question. Going to cover a lot of stuff today, but that's the main thing. We're going to cover the big idea of the course. I'll talk a little bit about the 3 laws of personal finance, and I will ask you to tell me what is a financial plan. That's part of your assignment this week, is to just think about what is a financial plan. What does that term mean to you, to everybody? Most people have an idea of a financial plan, and it's very different from one person to another. So I'm going to ask you to tell me, what do you think a financial plan is? It's an important part of the course because this summer and this semester you're going to build a comprehensive financial plan. So like I said, I'll answer some questions. I'll talk a little bit about this week's assignments because this is summer school. Instead of one assignment, you're going to have 2 assignments. I think you're going to have 2 assignments for the next 4 weeks, and then we'll have 1 assignment and then the capstone assignment. So that's what we're going to talk about. Talk a little bit about Money Study Group, the online component of your course. If you haven't already checked that out, then you're going to want to do that. I'll talk about that. For a minute, I'll share some important links that you'll want to have for this semester to navigate the course. We'll talk about Zoom meetings. Let me just tell you right now, Zoom meetings are we are in a Zoom meeting right now. And it is available every Tuesday at 10 a.m. from 10 a.m. until we finish the lecture. It's where we can connect. If you have questions or you want to have a meeting with me, that's where and when is Tuesday at 10 a.m. But this is an asynchronous course, so you're not required to attend the Zoom meetings. You're welcome to, but I'll tell you with Zoom, one of the things I found is that YouTube is really a great platform for watching the lectures. Here's the number one reason I like YouTube better. If I were you, I would not go to the Zoom meetings. I would go, unless I had a question, and then I would show up at the Zoom meeting. If I had something I wanted to talk about, that's where you want to do it, because I'm here, I'm looking at the chat, and it's your opportunity to interact with me in real time if that's something you want to do. But the truth is, the technology is better on YouTube. You can hit the little gear and you can listen or watch at double time, which in my opinion, in fact, I just signed up for premium YouTube and I can watch it 3 times, I think, 3 times. So you can listen a lot faster than I can talk. So that's one reason I would suggest maybe uh, watch these asynchronous lectures on YouTube so that you can watch them at fast time. We're going to talk a little bit about GroupMe, talk a little bit about tutorial requests. You'll want to follow along and listen, maybe take a few notes. But we'll talk about these throughout the semester. But I do want you to know that as we get closer to the capstone assignment, which is really the final exam for you, you can request tutorials where I will take your financial plan and I will answer your questions and I'll tell you how you need to request the tutorials. It's a very specific, it's not that difficult, but it is something that you have a few instructions around. You just can't say, hey, do a tutorial for me. I want you to tell me specifically what you're looking for. So we'll talk a little bit about that. We'll talk about this week's class collaboration. Class collaboration is worth 200 points, so we'll talk about how you do that, how you get those 200 points. We're going to talk about how to take a screenshot because it is one of the things you have to learn how to do if you don't know how to take a screenshot. By the way, some people take a screenshot by taking their phone and taking a picture of the screen and then putting that into their assignment. That is not a proper screenshot and it will result in a 15-point deduction. So I'll show you how to take a screenshot. Talk a little bit about clearing your cache and what that means. Here are the assignments. So these are all of the assignments you're going to do this semester, and I'll talk a little bit about them, but mostly I will talk about them as we go through the course. But I just wanted to put up a list of the assignments that you're going to see. Now, one of the things that I like to do is I like to play a little music just to entertain a little bit and take a little of the noise or the silence or the white noise, whatever, out. So what do you think about music? Is it distracting? I like this. Is called Rope. I don't know where I got this one. This one's epic. I like this one. Epic. Yeah, that's good. And I have one called Harp. Harps start slow. So yeah, let me just show you what I'm doing, just so you can see. Sometimes we have problems with technology. Lots of technology going on in this operation. And you can see I have these buttons that I push. And if I push buttons on this little Stream Deck right here, I can do all kinds of things like turn on and off the music. I think I just turned it off. And so if you like that, the drum roll. If you like it, you can applause. So there you go. Okay, back to work. So you can see, oh, I forgot, those are not supposed to loop, but again, technology is something that can give us trouble, certainly. Okay, so back to the outline. So first of all, I just want to welcome you to the course. And I want to talk a little bit about what the course is. So I'm going to get rid of that. And I am going to mention again that This is being live streamed to lots of places. YouTube is where I would encourage you. If you use YouTube, then by all means, I would encourage you to subscribe to my channel at Jim Munchback. Munchback has an H on the end, and that is just because you will be notified when we post new content for the course. So you can unsubscribe at the end of the semester. But if you're already on YouTube, if you have an account, then that's just a simple, easy way for you to get notified when we do this. If you're not, like if you don't want to be notified, you just want to know where to go, each semester we have a playlist, and this semester's playlist is at uhplaylist.com. So when you go to uhplaylist.com, you will see the videos that we've saved for this summer. This is summer session of 2025. So that's that. So I want to welcome you. We're going to talk about what the course is all about, but the big idea is to become a millionaire by the time you turn 50. So that may not seem like something that you are all that interested in. I hope it is. I don't know what brought you to this course. Uh, I'm very curious because it is summer school. And summer school, one of the things I did in college was I avoided summer school. It was one of my goals. I wanted to graduate in 4 years, and I wanted to go to zero summer school. So I did that. I did not go to any summer school, didn't take any summer school classes. And so I'm just curious, uh, what brought you to personal finance in summer school? It's a very different format than we do in the normal semester because we pack so much information into such a small amount of time. So you'll be doing double assignments, and I just don't know. I'm curious. I'll be interested if you'll share that with me in this week's assignment. Just tell me, why did you sign up for summer school? And that's just, I'm puzzled by that because I'm assuming some of you needed the hours to graduate. Some of you like summer school, but I'm just curious. Summer school. By the way, when I finished college, my last semester, because of my two goals, to finish in 4 years and number two, to not do summer school, by the time I got to my last semester, I had to take 21 hours to graduate. And it was, I still have nightmares about that experience. It was not fun, but it is what it is. Okay, so there's so much that I would like to say as I introduce this course, what it means to me, why I think it's important, why I'm so glad you're here. Even though I don't know why you're here, you, I've learned along the way that some students take this course because when you look at the ratemyprofessors.com reviews, you see that it's an easy A. And it is. I want this course to be an easy A. And if you're an A student, I promise you, this is an easy A course. I happen to be a solid C student. So if you look at my transcripts from college, you'll see that I graduated with a 2.82 GPA, which I was happy with. I paid for my own college. I worked full-time all the way through college. I took no summer school, and I graduated in 4 years. And I paid every penny of my college. And I got married and had a baby and bought my first home with cash. It was a mobile home, but still, it was a good move. It was a smart move, and it was a great way to get started. So anyway, my college career and your college career are very different, but college is an important investment in our lives. Education is a much more important investment in our lives. And so as we get started, I want you to know that I'm committed to helping you educate yourself, helping you get to know what matters most about managing your money. And that is something I'm passionate about, and there's no way I could cover all of that and just, with all the stuff I'm going to cover in this lecture today, this introduction. there's no way I can communicate to you how important I believe this topic is. But over the course of the semester this summer, every time I turn on this camera and start to talk, I hope you will recognize and hear in my voice and my words and in my the ideas that I share that I believe what you can learn in this course can make a massive difference in your life. And I want to teach you how to become a millionaire by the time you turn 50. That may not be a goal that you care all that much about, or you may have not thought about it. But I do want to know, what is your goal in this course in personal finance? What is it you want to learn? And I want to know that, and I want to make sure that I can help you learn what you want to learn. But I want you to also know that I have a goal in mind. And I want to encourage you to think about the goal that I have in mind for you for this semester. I want to teach you how to become a millionaire by the time you turn 50. So that's the big idea. And one of the ways we do that is we have these 3 laws of personal finance. I hear some noise outside. I don't know if you hear that, but it sounds like a tractor digging very close to my house. So I hope you don't hear it. I hope it's not too loud. I could turn on my noise canceling. I'm wearing this little microphone. It's a really cool microphone. Oh, that's backwards because I have my camera mirrored. But anyway, I just got these this is the first time I've used it, using a new camera and a new mic system. Hopefully it works well. But I do have noise canceling. But if I push the noise canceling, there, I just pushed noise canceling, and you will probably notice that maybe it reduces some noise in the background, but it also changes the sound. I don't love it. So anyway, I'll leave that on for a minute while the tractor's out there. If you if you notice a difference, and if it's good or bad, leave a comment and I'll read that. And at least I'll know you can help me do a sound check on my new system. 3 laws of personal finance are really the basis of this course. You're going to read in Money Study Group, which we'll talk about in just a minute. You're going to read a story about my friend Sam. When I started teaching this course back in January of 2012, I had never taught college before. I was very nervous about the assignment of teaching personal finance at the collegiate level, and I wasn't sure exactly where to start or what I wanted to do. I knew a ton about personal finance. I was a certified financial planner. I was a practitioner, so I helped clients with financial planning, and it's one of the reasons I got the invitation to teach at the Bauer College of Business, to teach personal finance. But still, teaching a college course was new to me, very new, something I hadn't done. And I was very eager to do the best job I could do. I just turned off noise cancellation just because I don't want to leave it on. But do leave a comment. Like, can you hear the tractor, the digging machine outside? I'm curious. Anyway, when I started teaching this course, I did not know where to start. I did not know what to cover. And I had these 3 friends that we met every Friday for coffee, 2 in particular that were there every day, and they committed to just be kind of mentors to me. One of those guys' name was Sam Baird. Sam is no longer with us. You're going to read his story in Money Study Group. But Sam came up with the first law of personal finance, which was the law of spending and saving. And the law of spending and saving says, uh, spend less than you earn so that you can save more for what matters most. That's the first law of personal finance, and it is probably one of the most disregarded laws in our culture of consumerism. As you know, as many people know, spending more than you earn using debt is kind of one of the tricks of the trade for most people, for a lot of people. And credit card debt and other forms of debt become just a normal part of life. But what I want you to think about, and what I want to help you understand, is the power of being debt free, the power of saving more uh, than you, or spending less than you earn so that you can save more. I was going to say save more than you earn, but that's not really it. Okay, I have 2 iPhones and this one is now ringing. So I am going to turn that off. There we go. I silenced it, I think. Sorry about that. Uh, I should put my phones in airplane mode. Usually I do that when I'm using them as a camera, but since I have a new camera, I didn't do that. Sorry about that. So this first law of personal finance came from my friend Sam. Sam was one of my best friends. And he said he was from Ireland. Sam was from Ireland, a very frugal fellow. So he had this, he had a very clear idea of this culture of consumerism in America, and he saw it as kind of a disease, and he didn't think it was a good thing. But he believed, and he told me, he said, Jim, if you can teach your students one thing, if you can teach them how to spend less than they earn, so that they save more for the things that really matter in life. If you can teach them that one thing, you will be imparting to them some wisdom that can change their life forever. And he was very clear. Sam was a very clear thinker. He was an engineer. He wore one of those little rings on his pinky. It was kind of an engineer ring. I didn't get it until Sam explained it to me. But he was very serious about his profession. He worked for ExxonMobil. He was a brilliant guy, and he understood the basic things about money, and he boiled them down to this one law of personal finance. So that's where it came from. The second law of personal finance is the law of tax advantage investing. I was born on April 15th, which is the day you have to file your tax returns. My first son was born on December 31st. So what that means is my wife and I got a tax deduction for the entire year, even though we never even took our son home to change a diaper. So it was it was a tax credit at the time. I want to say it was $1,250, like money just returned to you. It was awesome. And we got that for the whole year, even though our son was born on the last day of the year. That's a tax deduction. My second son was born on October 15th, which, if you're an accounting student, you know that that is the tax due date for corporate taxes. So all that to say, I was born to be a tax advisor. So anyway, tax advantaged investing is something that can really move the needle on your financial life. And you're going to learn about that this semester. And it is the second law of personal finance. And the third law of personal finance is the law of purpose and commitment. And that's uh, to me, it's the most important law of personal finance. If you're not willing to commit, and if you don't know what your purpose is, if you can't answer the question, why am I doing this? If you're not willing to give your money marching orders, the law of purpose and commitment, if you're not willing to extend your purpose uh, and your commitment to your money, if you let your money run you, if you just don't have a plan, it's going to cost you. So those are the three laws of personal finance, and you'll learn a little bit more about those this semester. By the way, I've got my Let's Connect little thingy up there just because if you haven't connected with me on LinkedIn, that is my favorite social media. This is being live streamed, by the way, to LinkedIn. So hello to all my LinkedIn friends. I have lots of professional connections on LinkedIn. I like LinkedIn a lot. It's really the only social platform that I interact with. So do connect if you're on LinkedIn, by all means, let's connect. I hope we can connect. After this semester, someday you're going to have a question and you're going to need to talk to someone you trust. And I hope you'll think of me. So don't forget, let's connect there on uh, but again, yeah, the YouTube channel, it's relatively new, and we create a new playlist every semester, and that's where I will be pointing you to subscribe to keep up with uh, the content here. So that's at uhplaylist.com. Okay, I talked already about the big idea, how to become a millionaire by the time you're 50. And I just want to mention when I started teaching this course, at that time we were in the room together. It was not asynchronous. It was actually you know, in person, which was awesome. I miss that. What about you? Do you miss that? I'm going to tell you, when I first taught this course, the very first time I taught it, when I introduced the big idea, I always try to, open it up for questions. And one student had a question. He was sitting in the front row and he had this interesting look on his face. And he said, "Professor Munchback, I have a question for you." I'm like, "Sure, what's your question?" And he wanted to know, he said, you say you're going to teach us how to become a millionaire by the time you're 50. He said that he thought that was a big goal. He thought that sounded like an interesting, somewhat difficult thing to do. And he wanted to know, Professor Munchback, did you do that? Were you able to do that? Or because if you say you can teach us how to do that, he wanted to know, did you do that? And I thought that was a great question. And he seemed like he was on the verge of being a little inappropriate or maybe disrespectful or whatever. Like he didn't feel very confident in asking me the question because he was a kind, considerate young man. And I appreciated that. But I really appreciated his question because it was the question I would want to ask. Like, are you trying to teach me something you never did? And the answer to the question is yes, I did it. And the way that I did it was very simple. I'm a very simple person. I mean, I really do approach managing money in the simplest ways. And I won't be able to teach you everything I know, but I'm going to teach you the things that I do know that can help you become a millionaire by the time you're 50. So the answer to the question was yes, I did it, and it works. Now, here's the other part of that. A couple more things about becoming a millionaire by the time you're 50. Number one, becoming a millionaire by the time you're 50, if you're a student in college, especially if you're a business student at the Bauer College of Business, and you graduate and you get a job and you go out to work in the world, you oh, you didn't hear anything outside? Okay, thank you for telling me that. Sorry, I just got a little distracted. So where was I? No, no, I'm sorry. I got distracted. I looked at the chat. Uh, where was I? The big idea. The 3 laws of personal finance. I want you to know that becoming a millionaire by the time you're 50 is not a big goal. It sounds big. I don't know. I've had students throughout the years say, I don't care to become a millionaire by the time I'm 50. I want to be a billionaire by the time I'm 50. Well, this is not that class. I cannot teach you how to become a billionaire by the time you're 50 or 60 or whatever, but I can teach you how to become a millionaire probably way earlier than 50, but it's not a big goal. It may seem like it, but I promise you, you're going to see as you build a financial plan this semester using Right Capital, the tool that we'll use to build a comprehensive financial plan. You're going to see very clearly that becoming a millionaire by the time you're 50 is really not a huge goal. Another thing I want you to know about becoming a millionaire by the time you're 50, this is something my wife told me when I first started teaching the course, and I was excited about having this very clear goal that I could connect every lesson, every assignment. I wanted everything to fit into this one big goal, and it does. This course is designed around this one big goal to become a millionaire by the time you're 50. And when I shared that with my wife, who is a very committed Christian follower of Jesus, and I try to follow her as she follows Jesus. She's better at it than I am, but she's an awesome person. My best friend, my wife, she's like, Jim, she didn't think that teaching my students to become a millionaire by the time they were 50 was worthy of being the big idea. She just thought it was too consumeristic. And, in some ways, she's right. She wanted me to teach how you could make a really big difference in your life, how you could use money to make a difference in your life. And I wanted that as well. But I knew that was a little bit more challenging as far as a goal. Like the goal that I chose for this course for you to become a millionaire by the time you're 50. I knew I could do that. And so I told my wife, this is the deal. I'm going to invite my students to take this goal to become a millionaire by the time they're 50 and let me teach them how to do that. Because if they do that, they're going to be in a much better position to make a difference in the world versus all the people we know who have no plan, no commitment, no idea. They just go through life without any plan. And what happens is they get buried in debt. They don't become a millionaire by the time they're 50. They become buried in debt by the time they're 30. And so I just told my wife I appreciated her pushback. My wife, she's good at pushing back. Uh, anyway, I appreciated it. And it challenged me. It challenged me from the very beginning to make this course about something way more important than money. But at the end of the day, money's kind of important, and I'm committed to you to teach you how to become a millionaire by the time you're 50. And along the way, I hope that I can encourage you to use your money to make wise choices so that your life can be better. And that's really what I'm here for. That's what I want to do this semester with you. Okay, enough about the big idea. Let's go on to financial planning. This is just something you're going to learn this semester. Like right now, you may not have a really clear idea about what is a financial plan, but that's something you're going to learn over the semester. And it's part of this week's assignment is just to think about and write a little bit about what is a financial plan. That's part of your first assignment. So we will talk a little bit about that. Next, I want to just hit Money Study Group is something that, so it is on Thinkific. I'm going to show you if I can go to, I'm going to go just jump right into, this is the course, and this is in Thinkific. You have a link to register. If you just go to moneystudygroup.com, it will invite you to enroll in this course. So I'm just going to preview. Let's just go preview. So now I'm just looking kind of at a live page in the course, and I could go over here and go to, so I'm just inside of Money Study Group. That's what you're seeing right now. So let me just get that there. And let me get this out of the way. So this is what you are going to need to do. And the instructions are there. If you go to moneystudygroup.com, you will see the invitation to enroll in this course. Now, this is the online component, and I just want you to know when we started, well, when COVID hit, at that time I was teaching in person 100%. Everyone was invited, not invited, but we were encouraged and required to teach online. And that was a kind of a brutal transition, unexpected. That was a few years ago, I get that. But at that time, I made a commitment to invest in whatever technology would provide the very best learning experience. And so I want you to know that Money Study Group was uh, a result of that challenge. So what I did was I invested in this thing called Thinkific, and it's where you need to go to enroll to be able to absorb and consume the content for this course. Now you're going to use Canvas to get your assignments and submit your assignments, but you're going to learn what you need to learn to do those assignments in Money Study Group. So I know that's new for some of you and maybe unexpected. It is not covered by the CTAP program. This is a Money Study Group involves lots of technology that is not, it's just not covered by CTAP. We tried that. We tried to get covered with CTAP, and really CTAP is for big publishers who publish pretty generic content. In this course, you're going to have access to financial planning, a financial planning portal, a premium financial planning portal. You're going to build a financial plan using Right Capital. Again, it's a my company, Bayrock Financial, sponsors, and we use Right Capital for financial planning with clients. So when I started teaching online, I tried to create a course that would be the most impactful and the best learning experience. And so this course involves some technology. Money Study Group on Thinkific, that's the platform, is part of that. And Right Capital, where you will build your financial plan, is part of that. And unfortunately, those are very expensive pieces of technology, and they're just not covered by CTAP. So if that's a problem for you, it's not too late to go ahead and enroll in one of the other personal finance courses that use content that's available through CTAP, which is just basically textbook stuff. So before we went online, I used my own textbook, and we used an online tool from Dave Ramsey, and it was about $100 per student. Obviously now that is available in CTAP. The problem is that content hasn't been updated in over 10 years. So I get it. Nobody wants to spend extra money, but I promise you, this is an investment that you will receive benefits far beyond the cost. It's $79, I think. So you're welcome to reach out to me, but my answer is going to be the same. If that's a problem, you probably want to check out another course where you can get some resources that are covered under your CTAP. Okay, so let's go to UH links. So each semester, I already mentioned, each semester, uhplaylist.com, that's just a domain that I purchased, and I changed the redirect so that it goes directly to your playlist. So that's where this video will be saved. Right now it's not being saved there, but it will be. When I finish this lecture, I will just go and save this lecture to that playlist. So that's where you will want to go to watch each week's lecture, and there will be a lecture each week. There is a Zoom meeting going on right now. I noticed there are some folks in the waiting room. I'll tell you this, if you show up in the Zoom waiting room after, like 10 minutes after I get started, I probably won't admit you into the Zoom room, because I want to make sure you watch the entire lecture. It's available on the playlist, and that's where you want to go. But if you just go to uhzoom.com, I redirect that to my Zoom meeting where we do this every Tuesday at 10 a.m. The other link that is on that page is uhgrp.com, UH Group. And that will take you to this semester's GroupMe. So each semester, I set up a new GroupMe. Over the years, GroupMe is the kind of, I take a survey, I ask students, is there a tool out there that you like that we should use to collaborate? And GroupMe has been the winner. Now, you'll be asked this week in your assignment, is there another tool that you prefer? And if there is, I'm always open to changing, but GroupMe kind of wins. And it's easy for me. I've been using it for a while. So we'll talk a little bit about GroupMe. Talked about Zoom meetings already. You're welcome to join us in the Zoom room. I encourage you to join us in the Zoom room. That's where you get to have interaction with me. And if we need a one-on-one meeting, I will always offer to meet you on Tuesday after the lecture on Zoom. So you stick around in the Zoom room, and then we can have just you and I have a meeting. Continue the Zoom meeting. But it is being recorded in Zoom, but it's also being live streamed again to YouTube, LinkedIn, X, Facebook, and that's that. So let me talk a little bit about GroupMe. GroupMe is a great tool. It is a place for you to collaborate with one another. In the beginning, I monitored the GroupMe chat, but what I discovered was it's really, I felt like I was spying on you, and I didn't want to do that. I wanted to make sure you had a resource to ask one another questions. I recognize that some students are, more adept, maybe um, how can I say this? Some students are smarter than others. I'm a C student, okay? I got maybe 2 A's in my whole college career. And I was constantly asking friends, hey, what was it? So that's what GroupMe is for. It's for the students who have the ability and the capacity to be able to answer questions for students who have questions. And it's the first place you should go if you have a question. Now, if you're asking questions in GroupMe and you're not getting answers, if you're not getting an answer to your question, then you're certainly welcome to reach out to me. My mobile number, my iPhone is in the chat. This is where I would, yeah, that's my phone. I would encourage you to text me. I get texts come right to my phone. If you email me, that's fine too. My email address is in the syllabus. But I get a ton of emails. And so if you email me a generic question, I'm probably going to look at it and forget about it because I'll have 100 other emails. But if you text me, I'm just more likely to see it and answer you. But here's my answer. If you ask me a question that I know I covered in the lecture from the Zoom meeting, my answer is going to be, A, did you watch the Zoom lecture? Because I know I covered your question. Not always, but a lot of times, most of the time, most of the questions I get have been covered in the Zoom meeting. And so in the lecture. So for that reason, what I encourage you to do with GroupMe is feel free to ask your question to students in GroupMe who watched the Zoom lecture, whether they watched it on YouTube or on Zoom. You're welcome to ask those questions in GroupMe. And, someone will answer that most likely because it was already discussed in the lecture. If you don't get your question answered, then you're welcome to reach out to me and say, Professor Munchback, I've asked this question. No one seems to know. Other students have the same question in GroupMe, and I promise you I will get you an answer. And I'll jump into GroupMe and I'll answer the question there as well. So that's GroupMe. That's how it works. It's not my first, I'm not involved in GroupMe unless I need to be. And you need to let me know if I need to be. But it's for you. So use it. And it's a good tool. And if you have another tool that you think would work better, I'm all ears. Okay, next, let's talk about the capstone. The capstone is coming. It's like your final exam. You don't have a final exam. The capstone is 200 points. So it's important. And so as we get closer to the capstone, as you do assignments each week, you will be doing assignments that are part of your financial planning process. Okay, you're going to basically build a financial plan. And so I'm going to teach you piece by piece, module by module, assignment by assignment, how to do that. And each week, as you do these assignments, you're going to be building your financial plan. The capstone assignment is nothing but putting all that together. So it's like your second shot. If you do an assignment where we work on retirement planning and we work on asset allocation for investments, and I'll teach you how to do that. And you do an assignment and you show me what you did in your financial plan to update your investment accounts to have good asset allocation. I know that may be confusing now because we haven't covered it, but we will. And when we do, you'll have an assignment. You'll do the assignment. You'll update your financial plan and write capital. And once that's done, that assignment will be complete. And if you get a perfect score on that weekly assignment, then when the capstone assignment comes, you're going to put it all together, and each of those assignments will have a special place in the capstone report where you will again be able to go back to that element of your financial plan and summarize what you learned in that lesson, like asset allocation, and it will be part of the capstone. So when I grade the capstone, if you got a perfect grade on the original assignment and you just basically take what you learned and summarize it in your capstone with a couple of screenshots, boom, you're good to go. So there'll be like 8 or 9 different elements in the capstone, which will represent 8 or 9 assignments that you did throughout the semester. Hope that helps. So my point about that is, at some point along the semester, you may struggle with one of those assignments, and that will affect your capstone grade. So before we get to the capstone, you will have an opportunity to ask me to do a tutorial so that you can learn that element, that part of your assignment or your financial plan. You can learn how that works and get some input and make it more clear. And that's my job. I'll do the tutorial for you, and I'll share how you can do that. So to do that, you're going to send me an email. You're going to show me screenshots of what you're trying to figure out. And you're going to tell me what your specific questions are so that I don't have to guess. You're going to tell me what you've tried, so I know that you've done something to try to get an answer to your question through your own initiative and research. And then finally, you're going to give me permission. When I do that tutorial, it's going to benefit the whole cohort. So I'll do the tutorial and I'll post it in the playlist so that everybody can see your question and get it answered, because I promise you, if you have that question, others do as well. So that's the tutorial request process. Next, I want to talk about class collaboration. So you get 200 points for class collaboration. And every week I will, each lecture, and summer school is going to be challenging, so don't stress over it. We'll figure it out and you'll be fine. But each week, each lecture, I'm going to say, hey, this week's class collaboration is, and so right now it is 10:47 a.m. and I'm going to tell you what this week's class collaboration is. This is not posted in Canvas. It's not posted in Money Study Group. It's only in the lecture. So there's a special time when I say this secret class collaboration, and this is something I don't want you to share in GroupMe, because you are required to watch the lectures, okay? You're not required to be in Zoom, but you are required to watch the weekly lectures. And the way that I get you to do that, the way that I know you did that, is I ask you each week to answer this week's class collaboration, and you're required to do that. It's just a quick note, like you can post this in Money Study Group. You can post it on YouTube or LinkedIn, anywhere you want to post it. But if you want it to be public for the whole world to see, then you would post it on Facebook or YouTube or LinkedIn or X. That's fine if you want. But if you just want it to be posted for our cohort, you would post it inside of Money Study Group, and then you would take a screenshot and you would include that in your assignment so that I know you watched the lecture. And this week's class collaboration for you is, why did you sign up for summer school? Tell me, why are you taking summer school? That's this week's class collaboration, and if you miss it, you get a 15-point deduction. So it's super simple, right? You just comment in Money Study Group or anywhere you want to leave a comment below. Why are you taking summer school? That's the question. Answer that question in a brief paragraph. Grab a screenshot wherever you posted that, and that's how you earn 200 points in this course this summer. Okay, next let's talk about screenshots. Okay, let me get rid of this, and I'm going to change that real quick. Okay, screenshots, again, sometimes folks like to take screenshots with their phone and they just take a picture of the screen and then they put that picture in their assignment. That's not a screenshot, that is a picture. And that's fine, but it's going to get you a 15-point deduction if you submit your assignment. Instead of using screenshots, you take a picture of your screen. Just one of the things that we want to teach at the Bauer College of Business is communication skills. And so taking proper screenshots is a tool that can help you communicate more effectively. And if you don't know how to take a screenshot, this semester, you're going to learn how to take a screenshot. It's super easy, but you do need to know how to do that, and it is required. And so learn how to take a screenshot. If you have any questions, I can send you a tutorial. but it is super easy. If you look at the screen and watch this a couple of times, I think you will see pretty clear instructions for how to do that. I like to use a Mac. I use a tool though for screenshots. You can do it so many different ways, whether it's on your phone, if you're on an iOS device, just learn how to take a screenshot. It'll take you 3 minutes to learn and you'll have a new skill for the rest of your life. Okay, let me talk quickly about clearing your cache. You may not know what that means. It doesn't really matter. Clearing your cache is important, and you need to learn how to do that depending on the browser you're using. And the reason is I get emails from students on a regular basis saying, hey, this Right Capital isn't working. It's doing weird things, or Money Study Group is doing weird things, or whatever. And the first thing you typically want to do, like if you have a problem with your phone, if I have a problem with my phone or my computer, first thing I do is turn it off and reboot it, and usually that fixes it. But if it's something online, then it's like if you're in a browser that has a whole bunch of memory stuff, and let's say you're looking at a page in Money Study Group or in Right Capital, and something has changed on that website, but your browser has captured the memory and it's keeping it in memory. That's your cache. And so when you clear that cache, most of the time you'll resolve your problem. So I'm just saying, learn how to clear your cache. You don't need to send me an email to tell me you have a problem if you have not yet cleared your cache. If you send me an email, my first question will be, have you cleared your cache? And so I wanted to mention that. If you don't know how to clear your cache, whether you're using Chrome or Safari or Firefox or Brave or whatever browser you're using, you need to learn how to clear your browser. So that's a little important piece of advice. Okay, this week's assignment, I'm not going to go over each assignment now. I'm just going to buzz through them, but you're going to learn how to do savings with Charles Schwab. It's a great little assignment about savings. And you're going to create a budget, just a simple budget to show me what does a budget look like for you. It's a super easy assignment. If you're an accounting student, yeah, you won't have to do any work at all because it'll be like something you've done. If you've never done a budget, it may take you a minute, but don't spend a lot of time. One thing you're going to do is you're going to track, what are we here? Oh, I guess I went too fast. Budgets. Okay. So yeah, my buttons aren't keeping up with my screen. Sorry about that. So budgeting is giving your money a purpose, and that's what the assignment really is. And you're going to basically do a budget to show me how you would do a budget. It's not a hugely important assignment. Like, I'm not looking for great skills in budgeting. I just want to know, what do you use to tell your money where it's going to go? If you're not using anything, this is a good assignment for you to figure out what will you use to have some accountability with your money. So that's budgeting. And we're also going to do a credit. There we go, credit and FICO. So you're going to do a free credit report this semester. If you've never done that, it may seem a little scary, but it's not. It's a super easy assignment, but you'll learn a lot about what is in your credit score and your credit report. It's mostly about your credit report, but also know that you want to know what's in your credit score. So we'll do that too. That's an assignment that's coming up. The parental interview is probably my favorite assignment to grade. This is where you're going to do an interview with a parent or a grandparent or an uncle. It's the older generation. If you do the interview with a roommate or a friend or a brother or sister, you will get 0 points. So this is a parental interview, and you'll see why when we do it. We're going to talk a little bit about consumerism a lot this semester. And so you're going to have an assignment where I'm going to show you the cost of credit. If you get buried in debt, it's a very expensive mistake. So we're going to do that. And one of my favorite assignments is called Credit Crush. So we're going to do the Credit Crush assignment where you're going to see and learn what I learned when I got buried in debt early on in my marriage, when I was spending a lot of money on debt, and I didn't realize by paying the minimum that I was going deeper and deeper and deeper in debt. And so you're going to see that in your financial plan. I'm going to set up an assignment for you so you're going to learn how credit works. It's a very important, interesting assignment. We're going to spend a few minutes on bargaining and negotiating, which may not seem like something that is super relevant to personal finance, but I promise you it is. When I taught with Dave Ramsey's content for years, we used Dave Ramsey's college foundations content, and Dave was very excited about bargaining and negotiating. So we're gonna do that. I'm gonna teach you some of the basic things you need to know about bargaining and negotiating. So, and that's a good assignment, good lecture. Okay, I'm getting thirsty, so we're almost done. So I turned on the music. We'll cover a little bit about insurance. Insurance is one of those things that you really need to understand, but we could spend a whole semester on insurance. Unfortunately, insurance is one of those areas that I'm like an expert in. I used to be a State Farm agent, and I know more about insurance than I really care to share. So my goal in the insurance assignment is just to give you an introduction to insurance and some of the basic elements of insurance so that you can become a good consumer of insurance, because insurance is one of those categories of your budget where you're going to spend a lot of money over your lifetime on insurance. So we'll do that. Investment basics, hugely important. And one of the things that is the, whoa, that's kind of loud. I'm going to turn it down a little. It's a little too solemn, isn't it? Investment management is the most popular topic in the course. So we will spend some time on investments, and you will learn a lot about investing. Part of that, what you'll learn is asset allocation. I talked a little bit about that earlier. It is part of the capstone. It is something you'll learn. I'm not going to get into it right now, but I promise it's something you're going to want to learn for investing. Also going to talk about tax allocation, which is different than asset allocation. It's part of the second law of personal finance, the law of tax advantaged investing. Finally, you're going to do a blueprint where you're just basically going to take what you learned over the semester and what you've created in Right Capital, and you're going to create a report called the blueprint, your blueprint for financial success. And then we're going to do the capstone assignments worth 200 points. We'll talk a lot about it throughout the semester, but that's the final assignment. Okay, so I am going to look and see if there are any questions in Zoom. It is 10:58. My goal each week when I do the lecture is to try to wrap things up in 1 hour, from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m., because that's pretty much as long as I can talk. I mean, I talked a lot over the last hour, and I'm pretty much done talking. Look, I'm looking forward to working with you this semester. If you have questions, comments, you'll have an opportunity to give me your story and your assignment. I look forward to reading that. But if you have questions, you want to shoot me a message, feel free to do that. My numbers, my digits are in the syllabus, email, text message. If you have a question and you need something, feel free to reach out. But if you have a question that was covered in the lecture, please go to GroupMe for that. And I'm going to end there. It's now 10:59. By the time I hit the finish button, it will be 11 a.m. Good luck on your assignment. It should be posted and available in Canvas, so let her rip, Tater Chip. I'll see you. Oh, I didn't talk about early assignments. If you can turn your assignment in early, by Friday at 3 p.m., you'll get extra points. 10 extra points, that's 20% bump. If you can do that, It'll make a big difference in your grade, and it helps me keep up with grading. So again, early assignment by 3 p.m. on Friday. It's not due until Tuesday at 10 a.m. Every week, assignments come out on Tuesday, and they're due the following Tuesday at 10 a.m. But if you turn them in by Friday at 3 p.m., that's when the market closes, then you'll get extra points. And you'll get my input. If you miss something, I'll tell you what you need to fix. And as long as you submit it by the due date, Tuesday at 10, give me a little note, tell me I already turned this in, I'm making corrections, you'll get the extra 10 points. That's very important. So don't forget that. I thought I had that somewhere in my notes, and I did, but I forgot to hit that little button right there. So I'm just going to end with early assignments. Be early. Okay, now I'm 1 minute over. Friday at 3 p.m., 20% bump. You need 950 points to get an A. So imagine if you do 12 assignments at 10 extra points, that's 120 extra points. So that's my last. Now it's 11:01. So I'm going to hit finish.